I took a couple notes on what it's like to network here. I mean, I think one thing is not to take for granted their business rules can be different in different
Mm.
countries and stuff like that. And it's a big chat, I guess, just about how that transition has gone. But it's been really great. I feel like people are super into like meeting up for a coffee or a beer just to kind of chat, get to know each other, and just like we're doing right now, but like in person. And for me, that's like I love it. I love it. I took a train 15 stops the other day to have coffee with somebody, or it was a meal, but have a meal with somebody and just learn about like see if there's synergy and stuff like that. And um, one thing that I would say for people is like if you have the opportunity to network and go to like expos, you'll see on LinkedIn. I recently went to a cyber defense exposition. I was invited by somebody, and I was like, "What is Manny, the nurse who worked in pharma, going to a cyber defense, expo?" Well, guess what? Ends up, I met some people who work for a life sciences company, and they're like, "Yeah, well, part of what we do is we protect companies on the cyber defense side." So they work with different like CRMs to make sure that those companies, even if they're pharma companies, have what they need. So you literally never know what that dotted line is going to look like and when they might be looking for somebody with clinical knowledge. So so again, just like don't ever say like I'm not going to a cyber defense expo. Like I think take it as a opportunity to meet new people for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I couldn't agree more. I've seen like expos over here too.
Gotta go.
Especially in life sciences too. Um, yeah, I that's on my list to go to. I imagine there'd be a lot of opportunity there.
Well, I was talking to my wife, about these things because, like, I talked to her about everything, but I was like, even if it's the sort of thing where, like, you have to take a day off, like, guess what? It's an expo. Like, most expos are 3 days. You have options, like, or at least a couple days, but, like, you have options to go. And again, your company might pay for it. So, like, I think that, like,
Mhm.
try to see what you can get expense, talk to your manager, and just give them a good business rationale for something. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
never a bad thing. And um, at the end of the day, I think one of the biggest things that I could say for that is make sure that you follow up. I think, I get a lot of people who are like, oh, yeah, totally, let's follow up. Like, let's, or like set up some time or whatever, and they never do. I think that in this world where everything moves so fast, I think just being accountable and showing those things early on and really just like, like for instance, if I ended up like blowing off this podcast, you'd be like, well, like I thought that we'd like worked it out and all that stuff. So
Uh-huh.
I think just showing accountability, like even when you're networking and like not having an ask the first time that you meet somebody, like you have to figure out if
Yeah.
there's like synergy and understand if there's like a way that you can also bring something to the table because at the end of the day, that's why you're there. And like I've done huge PowerPoints on networking and like, my philosophy around it. But I think that's one of like the really, really the biggest things.